And this tutorial is 5-minute hairstyles for back to school. These are all perfect for long hair, which can get a little bit tricky and a little bit boring if you've had it for a long time. So I test drove all of these to make sure that they're actually 5 minutes and they all worked out perfectly. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell next to it so you get updates when I post new videos. Follow me on social media at Katrinaosity and check out my podcast at MDXpods.com. And if you enjoy this video, please click the like button below. It really helps me out. For the first style, this is how I usually start my day. I used the Straight Brush Pro from Herstyler, and I will have the link in the description for this. I set it to the lowest temperature, which is 160, and I used a heat protective styling cream. And here I set my timer for 5 minutes. The first thing I did was brush my hair out with a detangling brush, then apply a little bit of the heat protecting cream, just to make sure I don't fry my hair with the brush. And then I brushed from root to tip just the front section of my hair because that's really all we're going to see for this style, and you don't need to spend time doing the rest of it if you're not going to see it. So once I had done the front section of my hair, I made sure I got all the frizzies in the roots because I do have naturally curly hair that will frizz up when I sweat. Then I flipped my hair over and gathered it up onto the top of my head and put it into a nice tight ponytail. Once I had finished that braid, I tied it off with a clear elastic, and I did use a clear elastic so I wouldn't add any bulk to the tip of my hair. Then I hairsprayed it a little bit, and then once I had hairsprayed it, it had enough texture to pancake the braid a little. This way the tip of the braid is the same thickness as the base. Then I wrapped it up into a bun and then tucked the end of the braid underneath itself so that it was in the center of the braided bun. Then I bobby pinned that in place, and I used a second bobby pin at the base of the bun just to make sure it would hold in place and wouldn't flip up. Once I was done with that, I pulled out some of my baby hairs around my face and I put on my makeup. For this next look, I was also using a Herstyler tool. This is the 3P curling wand, and then I set my 5-minute timer. I divided the top half of my hair from the bottom half, starting at the top of my widow's peak and then curving down to the back of my head. Then I brushed all of that hair straight up and gathered it all together, and then I put that into a little ponytail on the very top of my head. I didn't want this too far back, otherwise it wouldn't have the volume that I needed. Then I grabbed a small section of hair from that ponytail and wrapped it around the hair tie to cover up the elastic, and secured the end of that hair with a bobby pin behind the ponytail. Then I took the curling wand, which was on the second largest attachment, and I curled my hair away from my face in fairly large sections. I made sure to also curl the ponytail itself. Then I brushed through that with my fingers, and that is the completed look. Very simple and really cute. For this next look, I separated the front section of my hair starting from in front of my ears and then going all the way up to the crown of my head. Then I pulled the back section of my hair up into a ponytail and secured that really nice and tightly with a regular hair elastic. I wanted this one to be a pretty heavy-duty ponytail, so I didn't use one of those clear elastics and instead went for one that's really going to hold all of my hair. I worked in fairly large sections through the ponytail, curling the whole thing, and then I combed out the front section of my hair, making sure everything was nice and smooth. I took the right third of my hair and parted it, and then I gently brushed it back and sort of swooped it in a nice curve up and around the hair tie. I made sure that my hair wasn't sticking up around the crown of my head and instead brushed that section straight back. Then I wrapped that section of hair around the hair tie just to cover up that elastic. I secured it with a bobby pin underneath the ponytail. Then I took the rest of my hair that was out and I did the exact same thing but in the other direction, making sure that I combed the hair at the crown of my head straight back so that there wouldn't be any gaps, and I gently twisted the rest before wrapping it around the ponytail itself. Once I had wrapped it around a couple of times, I secured that one with a bobby pin as well. Then I pulled out a little bit of the hair around my face just to soften it up a little bit and make it look a little less polished. I hairsprayed the ponytail and then basically teased it gently using a teasing brush, and this gave it a really fun, nice textured look that put a lot of volume into the ponytail without too much teasing. For this next look, I divided the top section of my hair and then tied that up into a ponytail just to get it out of the way. Then I divided out another section just below that one that was a few inches wide. I slicked the sides back with a little bit of product and then secured that section tightly with a clear elastic. Then I was ready to get to work on the top of my hair, so I brushed that out with a detangling brush and then began French braiding it straight back. Now, I am probably the absolute worst person at French braiding, so I made sure that this style did not require a perfect looking French braid. This braid can be messy, it can be chunky, and that's why I chose this one, because it doesn't have to be perfect. Once I got back to the second ponytail at the back of my head, I incorporated that into a braid and braided all the way down and secured it with a clear elastic. Then I used some serum on the bottom section of my hair and then straightened that with the Herstyler straightener. And then I put a little bit of hairspray on the braid and pancaked it out to give it a little bit of texture, and that is the completed look. It's fun, it's funky, and I like that it's a little bit edgy. For this next look, I took a pick and parted my hair in a zigzag all the way down the back of my head. I did this because it saves me a lot of time when I don't have to worry about getting a perfectly straight part all the way down the back of my head where I can't see. Then I brushed out both sections and secured the first one just to get it out of the way so it wouldn't be flopping into the way. Then the other side I secured behind my ear, leaving the front section out around my face. Then I began to twist that pigtail and wrap it all the way around to form a bun. I went for more of a messy looking bun that wasn't quite so perfect, so it didn't have to stress me out. And then I did the same thing on the other side, leaving out a couple of hairs. Then I took the front hairs that I left out and straightened them, and I swooped them with a nice curve and then wrapped them around the bun on each side, securing each one with a bobby pin. This way the hair isn't pulled flat against my forehead and has a little bit of texture and is just a little bit softer. I love how this look turned out. It's really fun and cute and super easy to do. Definitely low pressure. For this next one, I gently parted my hair a little bit to the side. Then I got to work teasing all of the hair on the top and crown of my head, just making sure that the roots had some nice volume so that you wouldn't see any parts in them. Then I slicked all of the front section of my hair around the back of my head, and when I pulled it to the back, I gently twisted the end in the area where I was about to secure it. And then I shimmied a bobby pin through that little twisted area, making sure to secure it firmly to my head. Then I did the same thing on the other side, also slicking that against the side of my head, twisting it when I got to the back of my head, and then shimmying another bobby pin through the twist so that most of the bobby pin is concealed by the hair and you're not seeing a full-on pin on the back of your head. Once that was secure, I put some more serum on my hair and straightened the lower section. I love the retro vibe of this. It's very 60s and it's nice and simple and very easy to do. For the last look, I grabbed a section of hair from behind one ear and then braided it all the way down and secured it with a clear elastic. Then I grabbed a section from behind the ear on the other side and did the exact same thing. I teased the hair on top of my head and at the crown to make sure it was as big as possible. And then I grabbed one of the braids from the side with more hair because I had parted my hair on the side and secured it behind the ear on the opposite side of my head. Then I grabbed the other braid, pulled that up in the opposite direction over my head, and secured that one on the other side. I tried to use only one bobby pin on each side so that you wouldn't see them. Then I straightened my hair with a little bit of serum on it, and that is the finished look. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Follow me on social media at Katrinaosity. Check out my podcast at MDXpods.com. And if you enjoyed this video, please click that like button and post a comment below telling me what you think.